Megalodon. The name alone sounds like something that swallows cargo ships for fun. And honestly, it probably could have. This shark stretched 18 meters, weighed 60 tons, and had a bite force of 180,000 newtons, enough to crush an SUV like a soda can. Its teeth were 18 centimeters each, basically combat knives with serrated edges. And it didn't hunt politely. It ambushed whales from below, removing entire sections like a circular saw through butter. Scientists found whale vertebrae with bite marks so clean they look photoshopped. But here's the twist. Megalodon didn't live with dinosaurs. Nope. It ruled 23 to 3 million years ago, long after the reptiles died. It dominated warm, shallow seas until ocean currents shifted, temperatures dropped, and its prey migrated to colder waters it couldn't follow. When Megalodon vanished, the ocean exhaled. But something even larger was walking on land. Argentinosaurus, the walking skyscraper. This titanosaur stretched over 30 meters long and weighed up to 100 tons. That's heavier than two fully loaded semi-trucks stacked together. Or if you prefer planes, it outweighs a 737-800 by 20 tons. Picture an animal so massive its heartbeat could probably be felt through the ground. It lived 95 million years ago in what's now Argentina, back when South America was a predator playground. And somehow, this gentle giant survived by being too big to kill. Its femur alone was taller than a grown man. Its neck stretched 12 meters, letting it browse treetops like a biological crane. Fossils show it moved in herds, which means the ground literally shook when they migrated. But despite its size, it wasn't invincible. Juvenile Argentinosaurus were menu items for Giganotosaurus packs. The adults? Untouchable. Too much meat, too much bone, too much risk. Evolution built it like a fortress on legs. But while the land had titans, the ocean was building nightmares. Mosasaurus, the apex predator that made Megalodon look patient. This 15-meter marine reptile wasn't a dinosaur. It was a roided-out monitor lizard that said, "Screw the land," and dove back into the ocean. Picture a crocodile designed by someone who hates mercy. It had a double-hinged jaw that could dislocate and swallow prey whole. Sometimes even other mosasaurs. Because when you're that big, cannibalism is just efficiency. It patrolled late Cretaceous seas 70 million years ago, ambushing fish, turtles, plesiosaurs, and anything dumb enough to surface. Fossils show bite marks on pterosaur wings. It was catching flying reptiles mid-dive. And yes, its ancestors crawled out of the ocean millions of years earlier, only for this thing to crawl right back in. Evolution has commitment issues, but Mosasaurus wasn't the largest landlubber ever. Paraceratherium, the giraffe rhino nobody asked for, but evolution delivered anyway. This mammal stood 5 meters tall at the shoulder and weighed 15 tons. The largest land mammal ever. Well, probably. Paleoloxodon pneumaticus wants a word about that heavyweight title, but Paraceratherium has the height advantage. No tusks, no armor, just height and neck. It lived 34 million years ago across Asia, browsing treetops like a biological wrecking ball. Imagine a rhino stretched vertically until it looked wrong. That's Paraceratherium. It didn't need to fight. It just needed to exist. Its size made it immune to every predator of its time. Even saber-toothed cats took one look and reconsidered their career choices. But despite ruling the Oligocene, it vanished when climates shifted and forests turned to grasslands. Turns out being tall is useless when the trees disappear. But while it dominated the ground, something owned the sky. Quetzalcoatlus. This pterosaur had a 10-meter wingspan, about the size of an F-16 fighter jet. It stood as tall as a giraffe when folded up, which is a sentence that shouldn't exist but does. It lived 68 million years ago during the late Cretaceous, soaring over dinosaurs like a leather-winged surveillance drone. But here's the kicker. It didn't just fly. It walked, on all fours, like a vampire bat the size of a small plane. Scientists believe it was a terrestrial stalker, folding its wings and hunting on foot, stabbing prey with a beak longer than a human arm. Imagine getting killed by an airplane that learned to walk. Yeah, the Cretaceous was unhinged. When the asteroid hit, Quetzalcoatlus vanished with the rest. But mammals weren't done trying. Columbian Mammoth, the Ice Age tank that made woolly mammoths look portable. This beast stood 4 meters tall and weighed 10 tons, larger than any elephant alive today. It roamed North America 100,000 years ago, surviving freezing tundras with 5-meter curved tusks and a coat thick enough to insulate a small building. Unlike its woolly cousins up north, Columbian mammoths preferred temperate grasslands, grazing in massive herds that reshaped entire ecosystems. They didn't just survive the cold, they weaponized it. Fossils show juveniles huddled inside adult circles during storms, using their bodies as living windbreaks. But size wasn't enough. Humans showed up with spears, strategy, and persistence. By 10,000 years ago, they were gone. Hunted, outcompeted, climate shifted into extinction. Turns out being huge only works until something smarter shows up. But one creature made the mammoth look lightweight. Perucetus, the whale that rewrote the record books in 2023. The original study claimed this 20-meter marine mammal weighed up to 340 tons, heavier than a blue whale, heavier than anything ever measured. Except there's a problem. Physics exists. Revised studies in 2024 dropped that estimate to 60 to 110 tons because a 340-ton whale would sink like a concrete block. Its bones were absurdly dense, pachystotic, meaning they were thick, heavy, solid like ballast. Scientists think it lived 39 million years ago off the coast of Peru in shallow coastal waters, using its weight to stay submerged while grazing on seafloor vegetation or scavenging. It didn't hunt. It didn't need to. It just existed as a biological anchor. But here's the thing. We only have fragments. 13 vertebrae, 4 ribs, part of a hip. The full skeleton is still buried somewhere in Peruvian rock, which means even the revised estimates could be wrong. Either way, it proves something terrifying. We still don't know what the actual largest animal was. And while Perucetus floated like a barge, something older bit harder than physics allows. Dunkleosteus, the armored guillotine of the Devonian. For decades, scientists thought this fish was 10 meters long. Turns out they were wrong. Dead wrong. A 2023 reevaluation called the SOS study, small or short, shrunk it down to about 4.1 meters, basically the size of a really angry tuna. But don't let the downgrade fool you. This thing was built like a chonky linebacker with self-sharpening bone blades instead of teeth, like scissors made of skull. Its jaw could snap shut in 50 milliseconds with 6,000 newtons of force, fast enough to create a suction vortex that pulled prey into its mouth before the bite even connected. It didn't chew, it sheared. Fossils show it could bite clean through armored fish plating like aluminum foil. It lived 360 million years ago when fish ruled the planet and teeth were still a rough draft. Scientists think it was an apex predator that hunted sharks, other placoderms, and anything slow enough to regret it. But despite being a compact slaughterhouse, it went extinct when the Devonian seas collapsed. No descendants, no evolutionary heirs, just fossils and bite marks. And that's the pattern. The largest always fall. Megalodon, Argentinosaurus, Mosasaurus, Paraceratherium, Quetzalcoatlus, Columbian Mammoth, Perucetus, Dunkleosteus. All of them ruled their worlds. All of them vanished. Because size is power until the environment votes otherwise. If you made it this far into the fossil record, hit subscribe, drop a like, ring the bell, and tell me which extinct giant you'd least want to meet in a dark ocean.